Hello, everybody. Today is day 2. We're going to cover what Refold is, how we approach language learning, and why it's different from the traditional philosophy. Traditional language learning, or the kind that you'll find in nearly all schools in North America, and honestly, most of the rest of the world, is learning how to translate from one language to another. Languages are treated a lot like math. You show up in class, you learn formulas that you can then apply to any sentence, do a few practice drills, and then get sent on your way. If you're lucky, the teacher might use some example dialogues from the 70s that are vaguely related to the topic of the day. The idea here is that English plus vocabulary plus grammar will equal French, or equal German, or Japanese, which is clearly flawed. Right? Each language is much too complicated and different to be solved in that way. They claim that after completing these lessons, you'll be able to talk about the past, present, future, desires, wishes, whatever else. Filling in the blanks a few times doesn't actually allow you to use these patterns in the real world, though, let alone understand them when a native speaker uses all these things at the same time at full speed. And heaven forbid if they break one small grammar rule for some reason that makes sense in the language. This system can work actually pretty well if your goal is to speak with people who reduce the speed and complexity of their speech to match your level. So like if you're hoping to just use phrases to get around and visit a country, that sort of thing. But the downside is that this process is very mentally intensive, slow, and it makes it really, really difficult to achieve high-level fluency. Refold is focused on building an instinct in your target language, like you have in your native language. You can tell when something wrong sounds it. It just feels wrong or right. You might not be able to explain why something is incorrect. It just feels weird to say it that way. That's instinct. And you don't ever need to translate from your thoughts into English. It feels like they're already in English. And so, Refold's goal is to guide learners to create an instinct in a second language. And we know from lots of time, research, and personal experience that instinct comes from imitation, not solving math problems. And that's the essence of why Refold is different. But let's take a look at the 3 main tactical differences in the Refold approach. The first and most obvious difference is that we recommend that you don't try to speak your target language until you have built at least some instinct for it. Instinct is built from understanding, not from speaking. You could say a lot of stuff, but it doesn't build an instinct for sounding natural or correct. Plus, speaking early is almost always very hard and very wrong. If you've ever met somebody who's new to learning your native language and they've tried to explain something complicated to you, you've probably noticed how hard it can be. Or if you've tried to talk in your target language, it's almost impossible to actually phrase things the way you want to. This extra stress is another reason why we say to wait. It's a known fact in language acquisition that stressful environments slow down learning, which we don't want to happen. This is called something, the affective filter, where you sort of put this barrier between you and learning if it's stressful. And we find that it's most stressful to start speaking when you literally can't. It's not that speaking inherently is bad or anything, but it is stressful and it's not very engaging for anyone. And above all, it's not very useful. Instead of not speaking, we think of it more as comprehension first. That's the original focus. I mean, think about babies. Their first words are a big moment, but they're also terrible still. It's not like they just start quoting Shakespeare after a few years of listening. It takes them a while to sound coherent, and even longer to sound like proficient speakers. Thankfully, as adults, we do go much, much quicker than that, but it's the same idea. Also, on that note, adults are actually much faster at learning languages than kids, because kids have the luxury of learning for 10 or more hours per day and are carefree little beings that are happy speaking with hundreds of errors for years. but adults make progress much faster in much fewer hours. The moral of this slide is not to worry about how you sound or if you can speak. That should not be your measure for success. It will come with time for sure, and your first words will be just as amazing as those of a 1.5-year-old. Which leads us into a hard truth of language learning. Building instinct takes time, a lot of time. There are no shortcuts to actual fluency. Just like there are no shortcuts to getting into shape to being able to run a marathon, you need to train and focus on improving your ability over the course of thousands of hours. If you've ever seen those magic weight loss pills or ads to get killer abs in just 3 weeks, that's the same desire that's preyed upon in the language learning space. People don't like the idea of spending thousands of hours on something, but it's the only way to actually get there. We understand that, which is why our main goal is to make the whole process as fun as possible. Gaining instinct is a subconscious process. You just need to let your brain figure it out. If you'll allow me to go back to that physical exercise analogy, learning a language is almost like swimming in a way. You could explain all of the micro body movements that are required to keep yourself afloat, but someone who's never been in water before isn't going to just be able to swim no matter how perfect your explanation is. They also just never will be able to swim laps on day 1 or probably even in month number 1. But they can watch experienced swimmers and get tips. That might help, but at the end of the day, their body needs to subconsciously learn what to do by being there and feeling the water. Same goes for language. You can train some things, absolutely, like learning new words and grammar patterns, but you're never going to fully acquire them until you've seen, heard, and eventually used them hundreds, if not thousands of times. I wonder if that's why the word immersion works for both swimming and language learning. Anyways, our secret weapon is entertainment. Our tagline is, once you can have fun in a language, you won't want to stop. Many of our team members can be quoted as saying, "You'll pry my Spanish fantasy novels from my cold, dead hands. I'm never giving them up," me included. And when you get to the point of having fun, you will develop this language instinct in your free time. You'll look forward to watching your Korean drama for the juicy plot or get sucked into German crime TV shows. Studying for 3 hours per day sounds like a lot, but watching and reading 3 hours of content per day is a normal part of most people's lives. If you're an avid reader, if you enjoy movies, watch documentaries, or are addicted to YouTube, it's almost impossible not to spend a few hours per day with media. Humans just like art and language. It's part of what makes us human. If you can get to 3 hours per day of media, that's over 1,000 hours per year. I mean, let's even say half of that. Once things are fun, 500 hours per year is very doable. That means that if you plan to live for at least another decade, you're going to get 5,000 hours in your target language, which is a lot. That's enough time to theoretically learn 2 languages to a very good level, or 1 to the point of where you never need English again, theoretically, and could live only in that language. That's the power of entertainment. And that's the core purpose of this course, to get you past that stage where things are a constant challenge and aren't that much fun, and give you all the tools you need to reach that fun threshold. Now, let's come back to earth a little bit and talk about how to develop that language instinct so that things become fun. The first focus you should have is on real situations. Learning the phrase, "my hovercraft is full of eels," is completely useless. In fact, it might even be harmful to your ability, since you might accidentally use one of the words or misunderstand something similar because you don't need words like eels or hovercraft. Instead, you want to learn the normal things that everyone just says. Responses to greetings, common questions, the kind of language that families use together, that sort of thing. You want to focus on understanding the ideas, thoughts, and meanings behind that common language so that you begin to develop an instinct for it. In fact, many immersion learners have the experience of not being able to translate into the native language very well. This never happens with traditional methods, since the focus is translation. But it's frequent for immersion learners to understand something, but have trouble translating it or saying it aloud in their native language, which is a good thing, to be clear. If you want to translate, you can learn that skill down the line. It's a separate skill because, like speaking, it's way, way easier to do if you already know both languages. But for now, you're getting used to the language, understanding it, and becoming friends with it. There's one last important thing I want to talk about today, and that's the term comprehensible input. This concept and idea was brought into modern linguistics research by Stephen Krashen in the 70s and 80s. While he did many other important things, this is his well-known and arguably most important idea. Comprehensible means understandable, and an input means language that enters your brain. The only way that humans learn language is when they understand messages in that language. Or in other words, the only way we truly learn language is through comprehensible input, messages we understand. And that's the first definition of comprehensible input. Anything that you can understand in your target language is comprehensible input. If you're walking down the street and a sign is in Spanish and you understand what it says, comprehensible input. If you're watching a Russian sitcom and you understand a joke that the character makes, boom, comprehensible input. And if you're listening to a podcast in Japanese and a whole sentence is clear to you, also comprehensible input. Comprehensible input, which you may see abbreviated as CI, is what you're searching for. Eventually, everything will become comprehensible input for you, but right now you'll need to specifically search for easier things that are comprehensible, which actually spawned a whole genre of content, also called comprehensible input. It's a little annoying that the genre name is the same as the linguistic concept, but it is what it is. The genre of comprehensible input is where speakers of the language make videos, or books or TV shows or whatever, that are made to be specifically easy for learners to understand. They use simpler language, repeat ideas a few times, use props and gestures, and often include subtitles or study materials. These sources make for great beginner content since it's comprehensible, which is the whole point. That's how we build the language instinct. Starting with comprehensible input is great since you can jump into immersion from the very beginning of your journey, from literally day number 1 or day number 2 today. In this course, we will also teach you tips and tricks and give you tools in order to cheat and make other things more comprehensible as well to allow you to learn from more sources than you otherwise could. But for the beginning here, we're going to focus on that genre of comprehensible input. So for today, your homework is super simple. Immerse with a comprehensible input source for at least 10 minutes. There are YouTube channels in the spreadsheet for all of your languages, so you'll have plenty of options to choose from. You may also want to continue or review the writing system lesson from yesterday. That's totally fine. In the spreadsheet, we've marked each source as either simplified input or comprehensible input, depending on if it's just easy or if it's actual true comprehensible input made for beginner learners. Right, so there's a slight difference there. Feel free to check out the simplified input if you're interested, but the main focus is on the comprehensible input. Thanks for listening to me ramble about the process. I think it's super awesome and exciting, and I hope that you're as excited as I am to go on this journey. But that is the session for today. That is day number 2, the Refold Philosophy.